ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. So we were on Canto 4 and we saw how the sons of Barhishad Raja were told by him to have more children and take the lineage forward, and they are also called as prachetas because Barhishad Raja did a yajna and that brought about a lot of grass pointing towards the east. So he's also called Prachina Barhi and his sons prachetas. So those prachetas, they went and did tapasya and they saw Bhagwan Shiva, and Bhagwan Shiva taught them how to invoke Bhagwan Hari, and that hymn is what we saw in the 24th chapter. Now, prachetas were instructed by Bhagwan Shiva, so they continued their austerities, trying to propitiate Lord Hari. Now it is said that in the meanwhile, Narad Rishi comes to the father, that is Barhishad Raja, and he tells Prachin Barhi, because the mind of Prachin Barhi was still very attached to karma and rituals. Prachina Barhisham Kshattaha Karma Swasaktamanasam Naradodhyatma Tattvajnaha Kripalu Pratyabodhayat. So Naradji, out of compassion, comes to Prachin Barhi Raja to tell him the limitation of karma and tell him the method of realization of the self, and that karma will not lead to realization of the self. So now you see, Shreyastvam Katamadrajan Karmanatmana ihase Dukkha Hane Sukhavaptihi Shreyastanneha Cheshyate. So he tells him that, O king, what good are you seeking for yourself through the rituals? See, rituals have a specific purpose. They will help to purify the mind, and even they will generate some punya, which will bring satsang, which can even take one to heavens where one can enjoy. But all the results coming through karma are limited. But what is the objective of human life? He says, dukkha hanihi, complete cessation of sorrow, and sukha vaptihi, attainment of supreme bliss. That is the purpose of human life, and karma will not lead to that. Shreyastha na iha ishyate. That supreme good, Shreya here means that supreme good, which is attainment of the supreme happiness and freedom from sorrow completely. He says that will not come through karma. So why are you so attached to rituals? Now please remember, the person who has done the rituals, who has seen the limitations, only that person can rise above it. Some people don't even enter into it, don't even do any rituals, they don't even bother to do any upasana, and one is living without dharma sometimes, or just as per one's mind impulsively, without having single pointedness, without having seen limitation of karma. One leaves all these. Then one has not been ready. Then one tries to study Vedanta, and Vedanta also does not appeal. Or one studies Vedanta, but it remains an intellectual philosophy. One feels that that is theoretical and one is not able to apply in daily life. Now, limitation of karma, one is limitation of karma as rituals or the specific yajnas, yagas, which will generate punya, which will generate fulfillment of desires. That is one meaning. The other meaning of karma also is whatever actions we are doing, even in the world, pursuing wealth, pursuing fame, success, achieving goals, having a family, socializing, so many of these are also karma only. So when we think that karma is only rituals and they have limitation and they will not lead to liberation, karma includes all the other karmas also. And obviously we can't stay without doing karma. So dedicating that duty to Bhagwan and doing it with selfless attitude, that is the solution. Otherwise, what happens? We don't want to do only spiritual actions. All other actions we are continuing. We said that karma will not lead to mukti, but this will also not lead to mukti. The worldly actions obviously will not lead to mukti. So our understanding of karma must be complete and holistic. It should not be limited only to spiritual rituals or spiritual actions, and one should not think take that as an excuse and say, okay, this will not give me liberation, so I drop all these. Then what do I do? Channelize all the energy to the worldly actions. Those also will not lead. So holistically, one has to understand the limitation of karma. So now when this Raja was told by Narada Rishi in this way, he accepts. He is a humble king, so he accepts. So the karma has brought that humility in him. So Raja Uvacha, he says, Naja nami mahabhaga param karma paviddadhihi bruhi me vimalam jnanam yena muchyeya karma bhihi. So he says that, very true, I do not know. Najanami, oh great one, I do not know what is the supreme good. And my mind is distracted by rituals. There is no doubt I am feeling very attached to the actions. And because actions give results and results are tangible, visible, experienceable. And even if they are temporary, one can keep doing actions to keep getting more and more results. So one is attached. So he says, yes, it is true. I don't know any other way. He must have heard somewhere satsang he has had. So he must have heard this, that knowledge is the method to liberation. So he asks, Bruhi me vimalam jnanam, give me that purest of knowledge. Yena muchyeya karma bihi, by which I will be freed from this attachment to actions. So he says, Grahe shukuta dharmeshu putra dara dharanarthadhihi naparam vindate mudho brahmyan samsara vartmasu. So he says, when one is stuck to this life as a householder, when is attached to that, and when one performs actions for I, me, and mine, for selfish purposes, then one regards also putra dara dhanarthadhihi. The buddhi thinks that these are the purpose of human life. The goals of human life is to have wealth, to have children, to have wife, to have a family. So it goes on. Yes, that's all life is meant for. So now the buddhi is conditioned by that. So he says, Na param vindate mudaha. So this ignorant person does not attain the supreme because of this wrong notion. Brahmayan samsara vartmasu. And one is going round and round in this samsara, cycle of birth and death. So now he has asked, please give self-knowledge. This is one very important thing, that Brahma Vidya has to be asked. See, out of compassion, Narada Rishi came, and of course the punya that he has done, Prachin Barhi Raja, that has invoked the compassion of Naradji also. Naradji himself has come. And when this Raja is ready for the next level of evolution, the teacher has come. Sincerely he was doing his karma, but he is attached to that. So one may have sincerity, one may have dedication to one's actions, one's duties, one's family, but one may still be attached very deeply. Attachment is very different phenomenon. One should not think that somebody who is very committed and dedicated is also detached. That comes out of sadhana only. And so, though he has done everything like this, he is committed to his family, his kingdom, and he is also devoted to Bhagavan, and he did all the rites, rituals, but his objective is not mukti. He is not thinking of final liberation. Like he explained, the deluded one thinks of family, wife, power, money, that as the purpose. And having attained that, then one revels in that, enjoys that. One doesn't know that that is only a means, that is only a preparation for mukti, which is self-realization and then freedom from cycle of birth and death. So now he has asked. So when he has asked, Naradji tells him, now you see something first very powerful, he tells him, भो भो प्रजापते राजन पशून पश्यत त्वया ध्वरे संज्ञा पितान जीव संघान निर्घृणेन सहस्रशः. He says, you see, he shows as though in the sky, in the heavens, see all these animals whom you have slaughtered. And for what? You have slaughtered for sacrifice. Merciless that you are, you behold all these creatures slaughtered by you in thousands. Now, sacrifice. So, what is that sacrifice? Sakam karma it is. Meant to please some devatas, meant to please some even lower powers, even some bhuta, preta, pishacha, or any other, devatas. And these are meant for specific purpose, to fulfill some desire, maybe to go to heaven, maybe to enjoy something here, maybe to attain some power, some wealth, some, kingdom, victory. It can be any of these. And so he said, all these animals you have killed, they all are waiting for you. For what? They remember the pain that they have gone through when you have killed them. And karma means karma phala will come. So your karmas you have done. Now you have to wait. Now you have to experience the karma phala. He says, Ete tvam sampratikshante smaranto vaishasam tava. They remember all your cruelty. They are eagerly waiting for you. Samparetamaya kutaihi chandantyuthita manyavaha. And how are they waiting? They are not just waiting and seeing you. Their anger is aroused and they will tear you with their horns made of steel when you have departed to the other world. Meaning, you must have done karma, you have done these karmas, thinking that I am slaughtering these animals will go to heaven and I will attain what I want. But the pain they have gone through, and it is not, it is very, very difficult, painful. All those memories are there because they also have a mind, their subconscious mind records all these things. So they are waiting. That one doesn't recognize the karmic consequence of the cruelty that one does. One may escape the courts here, or one may get justice after some 30, 40, 50 years, by which sometimes it even becomes irrelevant. Sometimes the person also dies without getting any, legal punishment. But law of karma, one will never escape. Live and let live is the philosophy of life. Those who follow kill, they will get killed. There is no doubt. So, Prachin Barhiraja is told, all these animals are waiting for you. Then he says, I will tell you a story. To explain limitations of karma to Prachin Barhiraja, Naraji now narrates the story of this king called Puranjana. So, atrate kathayishveshu, sorry, ninth one, huh? Atrate kathayishye amum itihasam puratanam Puranjanasya charitam nibodha gadato mama. Puranjana's story he will tell. So, who is this Puranjana? He was a very well-renowned king in the past, and he had a friend called Avijnata. Avijnata means unknown. He is called Avijnata because his activities are not known. And this king, he was searching for an abode. All over the earth, he keeps searching. And he didn't find a suitable place. He felt very dejected. And what was he seeking abode for? He wanted sense enjoyments. Maximum sense enjoyments he wanted. So he tried various places, but he didn't find great satisfaction. Some little pleasure here and there he would enjoy, and then he would feel very, this is not enough. So he had lot of sense vasanas. So he was searching for a abode like that. So he rejected many of these cities which were on earth, and he said, these are not fit. Sorry, it got disconnected. So he saw this city in the Himalayas, which had 9 gates, and it was having signs of being some very good city. Now the city is being described. It has defensive wall, groves, watchtowers, moats, eye holes, arched gateways, dens on all sides, with houses having turrets of gold, silver, and steel. The floor of its mansions being paved with sapphires, crystals, cat's eye gems, pearls, emeralds, rubies. The city was radiant with splendor as Bhogavati, the city of Nagas in the subterranean regions. Now it had assembly halls, crossroads, highways, gambling houses, bazaars, rest houses, banners, all this. It's a massive city. And it is also said that the animals also lived there very peacefully. They would not harm each other. So it is said here that Nanaranya Mrigavrataihi Anabadhe munivrataihi. They lived as though they are hermits, meaning how calm, peaceful the hermits are. Like that, these animals also, who are otherwise forest animals and who will be wild and who will attack each other, even those animals were wedded to as though non-violence. And anybody who would pass by there as though felt welcomed by the cuckoos. Now, in this place, especially in this particular garden in this city, what he saw, there was a very charming young damsel who arrived there as though by chance. Now, she had 10 attendants. Pancha Shirsha Hina Guptam Pratiharena Sarvataha. So, she had 10 attendants, each of whom was the spouse of 100 wives. She was guarded on all sides by a 5-hooded serpent. So there is a 5-hooded serpent who is guarding her, that was a bodyguard to her, and she is 16 years of age, capable of assuming any form at will. And what was she looking out for? She was looking out for a husband. So her beauty is described. She had a shapely nose, beautiful teeth, lovely cheeks, charming countenance, all that. So very, very young, handsome, very young, beautiful 16-year-old girl. Now, Puranjan Raja, he looks at her and he is very fascinated. And he speaks to her, saying, "Who are you? Katvam Kanja Pala Katvam Kanja Palashakshi Kasya Siha Kuta Sati Imamupapurim Bhiru Kim Chikirshasi Shamsasme." He says that, "Who are you, O pretty damsel, with eyes resembling the petals of a lotus? Whose daughter are you? Whence are you here, O noble girl? Tell me, O timid one, what you intend to do in the outskirts of this city? Who are these 10 attendants of yours, led by that great warrior who makes the 11th? Who are these young women, O beautiful lady, and what about this serpent going before you?" So he is wondering, who is she? So he thinks, are you Hri, the goddess presiding over virtue of bashfulness? Hri means modesty. Or you are Parvati, or you are Vak, that is Saraswati Devi, or you are Rama, Lakshmi Devi. Living in seclusion like a hermitess in this forest in search of your Lord, who has realized all his ambitions by merely craving for your feet. So then he says that if you are none of these, so he figures out that she is none of these. You are none of these with well-formed thighs, since you touch the ground with your feet. So please grace this city with myself, an eminent hero of extraordinary prowess, even as Shri adorns the city of Vaikuntha. That city does not even belong to him. But he is telling her, you please be here with me in this city. Instigated by you through your playful eyebrows, conspiring with your bashful and loving smiles, the all-powerful love is harassing me. So Kama is overtaken his mind. And he says, your side glances have completely distracted my mind. Therefore, show your grace to me, O beautiful one. Now, this girl also, she is very enamored by this prince, this king actually, heroic Puranjana. So this girl also says, we are not fully aware of our own progenitor, nor do we know the progenitor of anyone else. We only know our being present here today. And she says that nothing beyond that. So she doesn't know the origin, from where she has come. She is as though manifested there. So she says that we don't know who has built this city, from where we have come, who are our parents, nothing we know. Now he had asked, who are these people who are accompanying you? So she says that these men and women are my male and female companions. When I'm asleep, these serpents keeps awake, guarding the city. Now she says, I'm very thankful to the heavens that you have come. May all be well with you. With the help of my kinsfolk, I shall secure for you the sensual pleasures you long to obtain. Now she understood that this king is craving for sense enjoyments, and he has been searching all over the world. Finally, he has come to this city. So she says, I will give you all the sense enjoyments that you long to obtain. Occupy this city with 9 gates, enjoying for 100 years the sensuous pleasures made available by me. And she says, who else except you I will delight? Obviously, I will not entertain some brute person. You are a cultured person, you are a powerful person. So I will entertain you. So it is here. Now she tells him about the importance of the life of a grahasti. Now you see there. So 39th shloka, see. Dharmo ह्यत्रार्थ कामो च प्रजानन्दोऽमृतं यशः लोका विशोका विरजा यान्न केवलिनो viduhu. All the purusharthas, he says dharma, she says dharma, artha, kama, and even this joy of having a progeny, prajanando. Then amrita. Amrita here means not the supreme immortality of the self. Amrita here means going to heaven. And great fame. Loka vishokaha. And going to even higher worlds after dropping the body, where there is no suffering, where there is only greater and greater sense enjoyment. Loka vishokaha, virajaha, pure worlds. All these, who will attain? Only a grahastha will attain. Pitru devarshim arya Pitru devarshi martyanam bhutanam atmanaschaha kshemyam vadanti sharanam bhavesmin yad grahashramaha. So even the karmas which are done for pitrus, for devatas, all for the rishis, for the other beings, meaning the Panchamaha Yajnas, all of them, Kshemyam Vadanti, they will give results, and they will be blessing for this life of a householder. Then Kanama Veera Vikhyatam Vadanyam Priyadarshanam Navrinita Priyam Praptam Madrishi Twadrisham Patim. So she finally says that a woman like me, why will she not accept a husband who is very renowned, generous, charming, and beloved like you? So what woman's mind on this earth would not cling to your arms resembling the body of a serpent, O mighty armed one? It is in order to wipe out the agony of helpless and forlorn creatures like me, with your smiling glances, imbued with compassion, that you move about in this world. So she also is very happy that she has found this powerful king, and he also was looking out for sense enjoyment. So he also has found this whole city, and the invitation from her saying, I will provide you all the sense enjoyments in this city. So Naradji continues that story. So this couple entered that city and rejoiced there for 100 years. They were glorified in the city. Puranjana sported in the midst of damsels and entered a river during the hot weather to refresh himself. 7 out of these 9 gates of the city were constructed in the upper part and 2 in the lower. Now all the details are given. that where this gates were and which gate led to which country, and how the king went through these gates to the different places. So he traveled also, he saw many lands also. So all that description is given here. And he is accompanied every time with some friend of his. So Avadhuta is his friend, Apana, um, Rasagna, Vipana, all these are his friends. So with different friends he goes. So he enjoys, he travels, and 100 years pass like that. And what is his mind now? His mind is completely besotted with this woman, and whatever she goes through, he goes through. Now you see here. Deeply attached to action and beguiled by his wife, the foolish king, whose mind was given over to sense gratification, did exactly what the queen did. Evam karmasu samsaktah kamatma vanchito buddhaha abudha it is. Mahishi yadyadiheta tattadevan vavartata. So if she feels happy, he feels happy. If she is angry, he is angry. If she is sad, he is sad. If she drinks wine, he too drinks wine. And if she took dinner, he also takes dinner. If she eats something crisp, he also eats with her. When she sang, he also sang. If she wept, he also wept. It goes on, meaning he is completely attached to her. And fine, in this chapter at the end, he says, Naraji says, Vipralabdho mahishyavam sarva prakritivanchitaha nechan anukarotyagnaha klaibyat kridamrigo yatha. He says, thus deluded by the queen and having completely lost his nature, he forgot who he is. Now he has become so attached to that queen. This foolish king Puranjana helplessly and involuntarily imitated whatever his wife does, like a monkey kept for amusement. Look at that. Klaibyat krida mrigo yatha. He is, that king has become this by attachment. Attached to karma, attached to enjoyments, attached to wife. Gone, all the three. Pulled him down. So one day what happens? He goes for hunting. So armed with a mighty bow, now this is chapter 26. So armed with a mighty bow and with golden armor, equipped with his inexhaustible quiver, attended by his 11th general, his Puranjana mounted his car and he driven by 5 horses, and he proceeded to a forest called Panchaprastha. Now this chariot had a pair of shafts, 2 wheels, 1 axle tree, 3 flag staffs, 5 cords, single rein, 1 charioteer, a seat for the owner of the chariot, and 2 central poles to which the yoke is fixed, 5 recesses, 7-fold protection. It was capable of 5 kinds of motion and was provided with appurtenances of gold. Now this much detailed description of the chariot is given. And we think that this wheel, etc., came much later, and people were not very developed. Now look at the sophistication of the chariot. 5 types of motion that chariot is capable of. Now what happened to him? He went for this hunting, leaving behind his wife. Chachara mrigayam tatra driptam atte shukar mukaha vihaya jayam atadarham mriga vyastanalalasaha. He was very attached to violence. That's the point here. He has to kill. See, compassion, sensitivity, all that has gone from his mind because he's fully overpowered by sense enjoyments, by the woman, by the attachment to his actions, and such actions were like hunting, killing. So he's very attached. So without informing his wife, leaving behind the wife, this proud king who was totally given up to the passion for game, that's what he said, Mriga Vyasana Lalasaha, attached to killing these innocent animals. He set about hunting their bow and arrow in hand. Now it is said, Asurim Vrittim Ashritya. His mind is filled with this Asuri Vritti, this demonic thoughts and demonic qualities. Ghoratma Niranugraha. So he has become very hard-hearted without any compassion. Nyahan Annishitair Banaihi Vaneshu Vanagocharan. And killed with his sharp arrows a number of wild animals in the woods. Now what is the scripture saying? Tirtheshu pratidrishteshu raja medhyan pashun vane yavadartham alam lubdho hanyaditi niyamyate. This is the line in the scripture that if at all a Kshatriya king has to go for hunting, so Kshatriya king will go for hunting for different reasons. Some reasons will be to invoke that Kshatriya spirit. Otherwise, one sees blood and one gets terrified. Also, to invoke courage, bravery, to go and meet the wild animals and take them head on. All that. So, courage, bravery, to train oneself, to invoke the Kshatriya spirit, so that when a war happens, actually, one will be able to protect the country and the praja. And sometimes they will kill for doing some rituals to propitiate some devatas and all that. So different reasons why it will be there, but there are specific restrictions given that in what conditions and how much should one kill. It can't be based on one's own whim and fancy and then one felt like doing, so one just did it. So here he says that for a king, what is the scope laid down by the scriptures? That if he is attached to hunting, then he may kill in the forest according to his needs only such animals as are fit for sacrifice, which can be offered in yajna to some devatas. And that too only on sacred occasions, not every time, any day, any time, no. So the person who performs duties as per the scriptures is not tainted by sin. Ya evam karma niyatam vidwan kurvita manavaha karmana tena rajendra jnanena nasalipyate. With this clarity and this knowledge, if one follows the scriptural injunctions and kills only those which are animals, those who are worthy of offering in sacrifice, and which are on special occasions done only, not any time that one feels like, such actions of a Kshatriya will not bind that person. And it is said, Gnane nasalipyate. So with this knowledge, when he acts, he will not be bound. But the opposite, Anyatha karma kurvano mana rudho nibadhyate. If one does opposite actions, not following the scriptural injunctions, with great, overpowered by this pride and ego, nibadhyate, that person is bound. Guna pravaha patito nashta prajno vrajatyathah. So this full of egoism, when one does this karma, violating the scriptural injunctions, that person is bound, and having fallen into the whirlpool of transmigration, deprived of the Vivek Shakti, the Vivek Buddhi, Nashta Prajno, Vrajati Adhaha, that person devolves spiritually. So this king, he didn't follow scriptural injunction. So what happened? These wild animals whose bodies were slaughtered by this king, they died with great pain. And those who have compassion, for them it was even hard to seek such, tender, delicate, nice animals which are there, harmless, innocent ones. And this king is just going on killing them. So while engaged in killing the hares, boars, bisons, gayals, black antelopes, porcupines, fit for sacrifice, and many other creatures, not only he killed those which are fit for sacrifice, but he killed many others. So then he felt very fatigued, very exhausted. So now what happened? Exhausted with this hunger and thirst, he stopped killing temporarily and he returned home. Now when he came back, he took his bath, he took his meals, he lay down to rest, and he was relieved of his fatigue. He applied, nice chandan and perfume and many such things, flowers, etc. And now he is overpowered by kama. So now he is thinking about his queen. So when he thinks about his queen, he inquires that where is this queen? Why is she not here? The attendants are there. So he asks them that, is everything all right? Why is the house looking like this? The household wealth in this house looks not so splendid as before at this moment. What wise man would stay like a miserable creature in his house, neglected as a chariot without wheels? If there was no mother or wife looking upon her husband as God in that house. So he asks, where is my wife? Where is that lovely lady who cheers me up when I'm drowning in an ocean of misery, brightening my intellect at every step? So the damsels, what they reply? So one of them, they say that we do not know what has happened to her. She is lying bare on the bare ground. She is in a palace, but she is saying, I am lying here. The damsels, they say, she is in a palace, she can sit on any of the thrones or whatever, the seats are available, and but she is lying on the ground completely, her hair is loose and her clothes are all soiled and she is lying on the ground. Why? Because she is dejected, because she was not informed. He went away just like that. And so she is upset. Now he says, Naradji continues that when Puranjan heard this, now he is very attached to her. So he feels very disturbed that she is lying unkempt on the ground. Now with an aching heart, he tried to pacify her with soft words, but failed to perceive what has prompted this anger. So he began to cajole her. He touched her feet, he made her sit in the lap, and he spoke very affectionately to her. So what does he say? He says that unlucky indeed are those servants whom, when they have committed some offense, their masters care not to punish by the way of correction, recognizing them as subject to their control. Meaning, if a servant has made some mistake and the master doesn't correct, then that servant is very unfortunate, because he won't grow, will not improve. Somebody should point out, okay, this is the mistake you have done, this is not the way it should be done, this is the way it can be done, all that. Why is he telling that to his wife? Because he feels that he is the servant, she is the master. So he is attached to her. Then he says, punishment meted out to servants by their masters is an act of supreme grace. He who resents it is a fool, in that he fails to recognize it as a friendly act. He says, you want to punish me, you punish. If you don't give any punishment, that is more terrible. All this is born of attachment. Therefore, O proud lady with beautiful teeth and graceful eyebrows, reveal to us who are yours. Your face with a prominent nose and a sweet tongue hanging under the weight of love and bashfulness, charming with smiling glances and decked with dark bee-like tresses. Who has made you feel like this? So unworthy, you tell me, who is that? I shall inflict proper punishment on him who has wronged you, unless he belongs to the Brahmana race. So he excludes two categories of people. One he says Brahmanas, another he says devotees of Bhagwan. He says, I do not find him immune from fear, meaning that person will not uh, go, the person will not escape fearlessly. That meaning that person is not immune from fear, much less rejoicing in all the three worlds or even beyond them, except Bhagwan Vishnu's or the bhaktas of Bhagwan Vishnu. So he says that never before I have seen your face without the tilaka, where you are so dull, cheerless, frowning with anger, untrimmed and sullen, and nor did I see your lovely breast soiled with tears of griefs and your lips ruddy as the ripe bimba fruit without the saffron like you. He says, you be gracious, therefore, even though I have committed offense against you. Now he accepted. Now he understood that nobody else is responsible. He only is responsible. So he says, I went out hunting of my own will without taking your leave, without informing. I just went. Now one may say, why is she feeling so upset? He went for hunting. He may get killed also there. Because anything can happen in hunting. And what was the point? I mean, so much attachment to hunting that he can't even tell her. So she naturally has taken offense, and now he understood that, oh, she is upset because of that. So he accepts. He says, I have committed an offense. I went out hunting on my own will, seized with a passion for sport. That is his attachment. So he accepts that. Then, what woman longing for union would not accept for befitting services her beloved one, who was ever under her sway and had been deprived of his patience by the vehemence of love? So he accepts his mistake, and he says that, please accept me back. I have come back. You are also longing for union, and know that I am attached to you. It's not that I ignored you and I just went, and it's not that hunting is more dear to me than you. All that is given his justifications and his reasons. So now, this is the situation. This purpose of saying all this is this Puranjana, look at his life. He is attached to the woman, he is attached to violence, he is attached to karma, he is fully sensual in his enjoyments, forgotten the main purpose of human life only. That's the point. Now what happens to him? So this Puranjana, this is now 27th chapter. Naradji continues the story. It's a long story. We'll see the symbolism at the end when the story gets over. Ittam Puranjanam Sadhyag Vashamaniya Vibramaihi Puranjani Maharaja Reme Ramayati Patim. So having thus brought this Puranjana completely under the sway by her feminine graces, this Puranjani enjoyed life, bringing delight to her spouse. So Puranjana and Puranjani. So what is that woman's name? Nobody knows. From where she came, nobody knows. She herself says, I don't know my origin. All that we will see the meaning, the significance we will see as we go along. So this Puranjana is completely under the control of this Puranjani. So when this Puranjani came, this Puranjana greets her also, and embraced by her, he threw his arms around her neck. Infatuated by a secret amatory counsel, he did not notice the rapid movement of time. So when one is very attached and filled with passion, one forgets purpose, one forgets time, many things happen. So, with not knowing whether it was night or day, his mind being completely possessed by the charms of that young woman, lying on a splendid couch with the arms of his queen serving as a pillow, the over-ambitious and valiant Puranjana. Now you see another quality is added: arrogance. So much arrogance. Why? Because see, he breaks the rules of the Shastra. He kills whomever he likes. That itself shows that his mind is not following dharma. Now he is fully, completely enamored by this Puranjani. Passion has overcome him, violence has overcome him, dharmic following he is not doing, and now there is a lot of arrogance also. So overpowered, so whose arrogance knew no bounds, accounted his wife the supreme object of his life. See that. For him, wife is everything, supreme object of his life. All this is to tell us, you don't think it's some Puranjan story. It is our story only. Don't we say that, oh, I can't live without you, you are everything for me, arre what? That is no doubt you love somebody, but it can't be supreme object of life. But that's how it works. That's the power of attachment. So, and overpowered as he was with infatuation, he did not know what was his and what was alien to him. So Vivek Shakti is gone. What is his, what is not his, what should be done, what should not be done, all discrimination has gone. Now what happened? He is enjoying sense enjoyments. While he thus tasted sensual delights with her, his mind clouded by passion, his youth passed away. Half a second as it were. You see that? Oh, King of Kings. See that line, very powerful. Tayaivaram manasya kama kashmala chetasaha shanardhamiva rajendra vyatikrantam navam vayaha. Shanardham iva. Youth passes like this. One thing when living for long, youth will go like this, especially when one is so obsessed with this sense enjoyments. They make a person forget everything, and time also passes very quickly. Now, this Emperor Puranjana begot through that Puranjani 1100 sons and 110 daughters. These latter, the daughters, brought glory to their parents and were endowed with a noble character and virtues like generosity and so on. They became collectively known as Puranjanis, daughters of Puranjana and Puranjani, Puranjanis. By the time he got all this, half his life was spent. Then that ruler of Panchala duly united his sons, who propagated his ancestral line with worthy brides. So he got all these 1100 sons married. Now what happened? And his daughter's weddings also he got it done. So 1100 sons marriage, and this 110 daughters, their marriage also he has done. Now you just think, you see what the condition of this Puranjana is. This many marriages he has done, huh? How many? 1100 plus 110. So 1220 marriages he has done. Found bridegrooms for all of them, brides for all of them, and he has done all the marriages he has settled. Then 100 sons were born in due course to each of his sons. 1100 sons he has. To each of these 1100 sons, 100 sons are born. By these children, grandchildren, meaning this many grandchildren he has, 1100 into 100. That many grandchildren he had. So by these the race of Puranjana considerably grew in the land of Panchalas. through a deep-seated feeling of mindness in respect of his sons and grandsons, houses, treasury, dependents, he got attached to the objects of sense more and more. See, we think that, okay, if we follow this, we will get vairagya by ourselves. It doesn't come by itself. He had how many grandchildren, you see? 1100 into 100. That many. How many? 1,10,000. 1,10,000 are his grandchildren. But he is still not detached. He is attached more and more. And his desires are not getting over. Prompted by manifold desires, he worshipped the gods and the mains as well as the Lord of Ghosts through number of horrible sacrifices involving animal slaughter. See that? So terrific is this Puranjana. Ije cha kratubhir ghoraihi dikshita pashumarakaihi devan pitrun bhutapatin nana kamo yatha bhavan. See, deva means the devatas, these lower powers. They require, some of them may require this animal blood and animal flesh and all that which is offered to them in the yajna, and they consume through the Agni Devata the essence of that meat and that blood and all that. So many animals he continues to kill. For what? To get more punya, to get more enjoyment. Then, while it has remained unmindful of all that was conducive to his welfare, in that he has forgotten, no, dharma is forgotten. Yukteshvevam pramattasya kutumba sakta chetasaha, fully attached to the kutumba, family. Asasada savai kalo yo apriya priya yoshitam. So, his mind being attached to his family, the period of senility stole upon him. Now he's become old. He's getting senile now. A period that is most unwelcome to those who are fond of women. Because now you can't enjoy more because the body becomes weak. But his attachments have not gone. So what we see in this Bhajagovindam, that Angam galitam palitam mundam dashnavahinam jatam tundam vriddho yati grihitva dandam tadapina munchati asha pindam. Still the desire doesn't leave the person. Body becomes older and older, the desire becomes younger and younger. Trishnaika tarunayate, Bhartrihari Raja says. The body has become shithilam, but desires become younger and younger. So, now, what happens further? Little more is there in this story that we will take up in our next class. For today, we will stop here. Any questions? Okay.
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति भूमि की मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की मंगल आरती मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी मंगल आरती पभी अंग अंग की मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की, मंगल अति कटी पियरे पट की, मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल बैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की, मंगल आरती मंगल आरती। राधा वर कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम, नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः, तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं, तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।